I am starting to really dislike my daughter. Her actions led to her sister being attacked, and now she is playing the victim. Growing up, I always imagined my family would be a haven of love and support, much like the one I was raised in. I married my college sweetheart, and we were blessed with two beautiful daughters, Emily and Lily. Emily, the elder, was always the charismatic, outgoing one, while Lily, more reserved and introspective, often looked up to her sister with admiration. Our life seemed picture-perfect, filled with family outings, shared laughter, and milestones celebrated together. However, as Emily entered her teenage years, subtle changes began to emerge. She became increasingly rebellious, testing boundaries and pushing limits. I attributed it to typical teenage angst, hoping it was just a phase. Yet, underlying tensions between the sisters started to surface, causing occasional but manageable conflicts. I tried to mediate, believing that with time, things would settle down. Little did I know that these early signs of discord were just the beginning of a much deeper and more troubling family crisis. Our family life, once harmonious, began to show signs of strain. Emily's behavior became more erratic and unpredictable. She would come home late without explanation, her grades started slipping, and she became increasingly secretive. Despite these changes, I tried to maintain a sense of normalcy, attributing her behavior to the typical challenges of adolescence. Lily, on the other hand, remained her quiet, studious self, often retreating to her room to escape the growing tension in the household. She idolized Emily, but the once close bond between them started to fray. Emily's dismissive and sometimes cruel attitude towards her sister became more pronounced, and I found myself constantly playing the role of peacemaker, trying to soothe hurt feelings and restore peace. Despite my efforts, the facade of our perfect family was beginning to crack. The warmth and closeness that once defined our home were slowly being replaced by suspicion and unease. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong, but I was still holding on to hope that we could get through this rough patch together. Little did I know that this was only the beginning of a series of events that would shatter our family in ways I could never have imagined. The first signs of serious trouble became apparent during Emily's junior year of high school. She started hanging out with a new group of friends who seemed to influence her negatively. Her attitude at home grew worse, and she became increasingly disrespectful, not just to us but especially to Lily. Emily's teasing of Lily escalated from lighthearted jabs to mean-spirited comments that left Lily in tears more often than not. I attempted to address the situation by talking to Emily, trying to understand what was causing her behavior and how we could help. But every conversation ended in a shouting match, with Emily accusing us of not understanding her and storming off to her room. She was becoming a stranger to us, and the loving daughter we once knew seemed to be slipping away. One particular incident stood out. Lily had spent weeks preparing for a school science fair, and on the night before the event, her project mysteriously got destroyed. Emily's dismissive attitude and lack of concern made me suspect her involvement, but without concrete proof, I was left in a painful limbo of doubt and frustration. This incident marked a turning point in my perception of Emily, planting the seeds of distrust that would soon grow into a more profound crisis for our family. As Emily's behavior continued to spiral, my suspicions grew stronger. She would come home late, reeking of alcohol, and with a defiant look in her eyes. I tried grounding her, limiting her phone use, and even reaching out to her school counselors, but nothing seemed to work. Emily's rebelliousness only intensified, and with each passing day, she became more distant and unrecognizable. One evening, I overheard a conversation between Emily and one of her friends. They were talking in hushed tones about an incident at a party, laughing about something that sounded troubling. My heart sank as I listened to Emily brag about manipulating people and causing drama. It became clear that her behavior was not just a phase. Something much darker was influencing her actions. The breaking point came when I found a series of messages on Emily's phone that confirmed my worst fears. She had been bullying Lily online, creating fake profiles to send her hurtful messages, and spreading rumors at school. It was a calculated, malicious effort to undermine her sister. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. My daughter, my own flesh and blood, was the architect of Lily's misery. I felt a mix of anger, sadness, and helplessness. It was a bitter pill to swallow, and I knew that confronting Emily about her actions would be incredibly difficult, but necessary. The confrontation with Emily was inevitable. One evening, after gathering the courage and the evidence, I called her into the living room. As she sauntered in with a look of defiance, I presented the messages I had found on her phone. Her reaction was instant, shock, quickly followed by a defensive posture. At first, she denied everything, claiming the messages were fake and that I was overreacting. But as I pressed on, showing her more and more evidence of her involvement, her facade began to crumble. Tears welled up in her eyes, and she finally admitted to what she had done. Emily broke down, confessing that she had felt neglected and overshadowed by Lily's achievements and that her actions were a misguided cry for attention. The emotional impact of her confession hit me hard. I felt a deep sense of betrayal and disappointment, coupled with a profound sadness for my daughter's pain. I struggled to process the magnitude of what she had done and why. The realization that my own child could cause such harm to her sister was heart-wrenching. Emily's admission marked a turning point for our family, forcing us to confront the underlying issues that had been festering beneath the surface. It was clear that this was not just about punishment, but about understanding, healing, and finding a way forward together. In the days following Emily's confession, I delved deeper into the extent of her actions and their impact. It became clear that Emily's behavior had been more destructive than I had initially realized. She had been bullying Lily for nearly 4 years, orchestrating a campaign of psychological warfare that left her younger sister deeply scarred. The manipulation and cruelty were systematic, driven by a complex mix of jealousy and a desperate need for attention. As I pieced together the timeline, I discovered that Emily had not only been harassing Lily online, but had also been spreading malicious rumors about her at school. These actions had led to Lily becoming isolated and withdrawn, affecting her grades and overall well-being. I found evidence that Emily had even sabotaged Lily's friendships, turning her peers against her and leaving her with no one to confide in. The realization that this had been going on for years filled me with a mix of anger and sorrow. I felt a profound sense of failure as a parent for not recognizing the signs sooner and for not protecting Lily from such harm. The depth of Emily's betrayal was staggering, and I struggled to reconcile the loving daughter I once knew with the person who had caused so much pain. The knowledge of this prolonged torment added a new layer of complexity to our family's struggle, underscoring the urgent need for healing and resolution. Unveiling the full truth to the rest of the family was one of the hardest things I had ever done. I gathered everyone in the living room, including my wife and Lily, and braced myself for the emotional storm that was about to ensue. Emily sat sullenly, her eyes downcast, fully aware of the gravity of what was about to be exposed. I started by explaining the extent of Emily's actions, presenting the evidence I had found. My wife's face contorted with shock and disbelief, while Lily sat in stunned silence, tears streaming down her face as the full extent of her sister's betrayal was laid bare. The room was thick with tension and heartbreak as I recounted the years of manipulation and cruelty. Emily's attempts to defend herself were half-hearted and quickly dissolved into apologies. She broke down, admitting that her actions were driven by a twisted mix of envy and desperation. The emotional fallout was immense. My wife was devastated, grappling with feelings of guilt and failure as a mother. Lily, though shattered, showed remarkable strength, confronting Emily with a quiet but powerful resolve. The conversation that followed was raw and painful, filled with tears, anger, and a deep sense of loss. It was clear that the road to healing would be long and fraught with challenges, but it was a necessary step toward rebuilding our fractured family. The aftermath of that revelation was a whirlwind of emotions and difficult conversations. Emily's apologies, though sincere, did little to erase the pain she had caused. We decided that professional help was necessary, both for Emily to understand and address the roots of her behavior, and for Lily to heal from the trauma she had endured. Therapy sessions became a regular part of our lives, offering a structured environment for us to navigate the complex emotions that had surfaced. During one particularly intense family therapy session, Emily broke down completely, revealing that her actions were not just about jealousy, but also a cry for help. She had felt increasingly isolated and pressured to live up to what she perceived as unattainable expectations. This revelation added layers of complexity to our understanding of her behavior and underscored the importance of addressing the underlying issues within our family dynamic. Despite the turmoil, Lily showed incredible resilience. She channeled her pain into her art, creating powerful pieces that spoke of her journey through betrayal and healing. Her strength became a beacon for us all, reminding us that, despite the darkness, there was hope for reconciliation and renewal. While the path to forgiveness was not easy, these moments of vulnerability and honesty brought us closer to understanding and, ultimately, to each other. The impact on our extended family and close friends was significant. News of Emily's actions and the resulting family turmoil inevitably spread, leading to a mix of support and judgment from those around us. Some friends and relatives offered a listening ear and words of encouragement, while others distanced themselves, unable to comprehend the complexities of our situation. At school, Lily faced whispers and sideways glances as the rumors about her sister's bullying came to light. Despite this, she held her head high, determined not to let Emily's actions define her. She found solace in her close friends and teachers who supported her through this difficult time. Emily, on the other hand, struggled with the social repercussions of her actions. Her friends, shocked by the revelations, distanced themselves, leaving her to grapple with the loneliness and regret that followed. As a family, we focused on rebuilding trust and communication. We had regular family meetings to discuss our progress and address any lingering issues. The process was slow and fraught with setbacks, but it was essential for our collective healing. My wife and I made a conscious effort to be more present and engaged in our daughters' lives, ensuring that they felt heard and valued. It was a delicate balance of holding Emily accountable while also offering her the support she needed to change. Through this process, we learned the importance of resilience, empathy, and unconditional love in overcoming even the deepest wounds. After confronting Emily and beginning the long journey toward healing, our family dynamics underwent significant changes. I decided that the best course of action was to focus on rebuilding our relationships and addressing the underlying issues that had caused so much pain. Emily and Lily both underwent therapy, which helped them work through their individual struggles and start the process of reconciliation. In the months that followed, Emily made genuine efforts to make amends, though the road was rocky. She worked on understanding the impact of her actions and took steps to rebuild trust with Lily and the rest of the family. Lily, meanwhile, showed incredible strength and resilience, using her art as a means of expressing and processing her emotions. Life gradually began to return to a semblance of normalcy. My wife and I became more involved in our daughters' lives, striving to create an environment where open communication and support were prioritized. We learned to navigate our new reality with a greater appreciation for each other's struggles and a deeper commitment to healing together. For anyone facing a similar situation, my advice is to seek professional help and be prepared for a long journey of recovery. Prioritize honest communication, acknowledge the pain, and remember that healing is a process that requires patience and understanding. Most importantly, don't lose sight of the value of forgiveness and the strength that can come from overcoming adversity together.